You've only got 2 more hours to beat the deadline for penalties if you fail to file your income tax returns. Another deadline concerns New Orleans firefighters. They'll be without a contract at the stroke of midnight. And Lafitte Housing Project residents marched on City Hall. We'll tell you why. I'm Beverly Carr. 6 News Tonight is next.
WDSU-6 New Orleans. Now 6 News Tonight with Terry Wood, Beverly Carr, Buddy D with sports, and meteorologist Dan Milham.
Good evening, everyone. Terry is off tonight. The Ides of April have come and almost gone, and that means a mad rush to give the taxman his due. The mailing deadline for those nightmarish simplified tax forms is midnight, and the main post office on Loyola is doing a booming business. Logan Banks is there right now with a report. Logan?
If you haven't filed that return or that extension, now's the time to do it. It's less than 2 hours to tax time, and citizens all over the city are lining up to stuff those federal returns into the closest U.S. postal box. This is the scene in front of the main post office on Loyola Avenue in the Central Business District tonight. The last-minute rush is on, and these New Orleans taxpayers are taking the express lane to turn their returns over to the U.S. mail. Meanwhile, in Metairie, tax preparers like H&R Block called in extra staff for the Internal Revenue Service deadline, while a few stragglers wandered in for last-minute tax preparation. The supervisor at the Transcontinental office says she's shocked at the low turnout.
Because we expected a big rush toward the end, and we were very busy at the beginning of the week, but we were very quiet today. And I think this all kind of took us by surprise.
Kathy Galvina is one of those late filers. How does she feel?
It feels horrible. It's really been rough this year, and it's been really hard. And when we got hit with what we got hit with, it was like put it off to the last minute.
The line in front of the post office here is about a half a block long. But post officials say tonight's traffic is brisker than normal, than a normal Friday night. However, they stress, like the tax preparers did, that tonight's business is not as stiff as it has been on past April 15th. Back to you.
All right, Logan, make sure you put your own tax return in that box.
I did.
There is another deadline looming tonight. The firefighters' contract with the city expires at midnight. Tonight, the city refused a union request for an extension. The contract originally expired on March 31st. It was extended until midnight tonight. Now, late last night, the union overwhelmingly rejected the city's latest offer. Members think the city is trying to play hardball by not granting the extension.
We had previously given them an extension with the clear understanding that we would give the one extension. We want to continue to negotiate in good faith as they have, and we just had agreed previously for one extension and one extension only, and that's where we are tonight.
It means firefighters will be working without a contract until something is worked out, but Bill Sanchez says the union will not authorize a strike or a sick-out.
I believe it would be counterproductive. It wouldn't help matters. It would only make the situation more difficult to deal with. And if emotions get too high, then the members don't have any control.
Now, negotiations are continuing tonight. Sanchez says there are only 2 issues left to be resolved. The new chairman of the Louisiana Racing Commission says accusations that he violated the state's ethics code stem from an attempt to embarrass him. Harry Hollins was appointed yesterday by Governor Romer to chair the commission. Some say he steered deposits from a port authority in Lake Charles to his own bank. Hollins says he thought the problem was cleared up and that the incident should not affect his new job. His appointment came on the same day the Inspector General's office seized Racing Commission records at 3 tracks, including Jefferson Downs.
Preliminary audit investigation, reported our findings to the governor, and he in turn authorized us to do a detailed audit to check out the validity of the allegations. That's where we are now.
The governor fired all 10 Racing Commission members and replaced 6 of them with his own people. One of those sacked was Albert Stahl, who's chaired the commission for the past 13 years.
But my reaction is I'm sad, very sad. You know, I look forward to serving in a, you know, just as a member. Racing is my life. You know, I've been there for a long time now, and I just wanted to continue to serve the state of Louisiana and to serve racing.
Stahl says the Inspector General's investigation is a mystery to him. An 8-month-long undercover sting operation in Jefferson Parish has paid off in the recovery of $625,000 worth of stolen property. Deputies set up concealed videotape cameras at 2 fencing locations on the East Bank and West Bank. They bought stolen merchandise ranging from guns, jewelry, and appliances to cars, boats, and truckloads of brand new forklifts and brass. Stolen gold and silver jewelry were also recovered. In all, 113 arrest warrants were issued, but only 52 people are in custody. If you think your property may be among the items, you can see it on display at 1801 Stump Boulevard through Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Another sting of sorts, this one involving the FBI, resulted in the seizure of 137 pounds of heroin, along with a sizable cache of automatic weapons. Agents made arrests in New York, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco. The drug and gun-running ring is believed to be based in Hong Kong. The value of the heroin totaled $137 million. In San Antonio, even the police were shocked by the brutality of the murders of a young boy and his 3 teenage sisters. They were hacked to death by an intruder who came in through a window and used kitchen knives on the victims. A suspect who may have been a boyfriend of one of the girls was taken into custody at a hospital where he was being treated for stab wounds. The wait for relatives has become excruciating tonight. Kuwait has reportedly turned down a compromise by the hijackers of that jumbo jet, which is still sitting on the Algiers tarmac. The Shiites apparently dropped their demand that 7 extremists be released from a Kuwaiti prison and offered to free all 31 hostages in exchange for only 2 of the prisoners. Several groups are claiming responsibility for the bombing at a USO club in Italy, but officials are looking at one man in particular. Junzo Okudairu is a Japanese terrorist charged in several other bombing and rocket attacks on U.S. and British embassies. Terrorism investigators think he parked the car that blew up, killing 5 people, and also believe he had help. A group called the Jihad Brigades called the French news agency in Rome and said, quote, "The American imperialists must die today, 2 years after the barbarous attack against the Libyan Arab state." One of those killed in the blast was a 21-year-old Navy woman from Ocala, Florida. Larry Speaks has lost his job on Wall Street, all because of his new book. The former White House spokesman resigned from Merrill Lynch because of the ruckus over his admission that he made up quotes attributed to President Reagan. Merrill Lynch says Speaks resigned on his own. He was not asked. Up next, Delgado students raised their voices and protest signs to save their school. And a march in anger and a mother's despair